A pleasant day to each and everyone. So, here we are again in our next discussion regarding sleep, dreaming, and circadian rhythms. So, most of us have a fondness for eating and sex, the two highly esteemed motivated behavior discussed in our previous chapters. But the amount of time devoted to these behaviors by even the most dedicated persons, no, in comparison to the amount of time spent sleeping, will tend or make us realize that most of us will sleep for well over 175 hours in our lifetimes. So, sabi nga ng isa sa mga teachers ko nung college, one cannot do without it. No? So, sleep is a very essential form of behavior and activity that is done by everyone. No? Especially organisms that perform daily tasks and activities in order to survive and thrive. Okay, so what is sleep? No? And what about dreaming? Why do we spend so much time dreaming? And why do we tend to get sleepy at about the same time every day? So answers to this question await in this chapter. So almost every time, no, that we lecture about sleep, somebody asks, how much sleep do we need? No, gaano ba kadami yung sleep na dapat kailangan natin? And every time na sinasagot yun, usually unsatisfying yung answer, no? And explain kasi may two ah, fundamental at magkaibang answer dun sa question na yon, no? Pero usually hindi natin malaman kung ano ba talaga yung winner. So, yung isa dun, so ini-stress yung sagot no, kapag tinanong tayo about kung gaano kadami yung sleep na kailangan natin, ay may connection sa ating health, no? Health promoting, no? Recuperative, no? Yung healing, no? Yung regeneration ng ating cells, no? Powers of sleep and nagsasuggest na kailangan talaga ng tao yung sleep na as much as possible na makuha nila. So, yung usual prescription natin sa sleep is almost, I think, estimated of 8 hours per night, tama? Pero yung isa namang answer is, marami sa atin na ah, nakakatulog na sobra sa kailangan natin, no? Or mas kulang sa kailangan natin. Isipin mo na lang no, kung gaano kalaki yung mababago sa buhay mo kapag natulog ka ng 5 hours, no? Instead of 8 hours, no? Kung kaya mong baguhin yung 5 hours na yun. So magkakaroon ka ng mas maraming waking hours each week, no? Mas maraming times na gising, no? And kung isipin mo, yung time na gising ka, it's almost 10,952 hours each decade. So ang dami. So let's continue. So how much sleep do we need daw ba? Gaano kadami? Yung hours na kailangan natin para matulog. Ayan. So the vast amount of time spent sleeping suggests that sleep has a significant biological function. So talagang may factor and alam naman natin kung anong naitutulong at naidudulot ng pagtulog sa ating biological functions sa ating katawan. And most of people, tulad ng binanggit ko kanina, no, they sleep over 175 hours in their lifetime. So that is the average, no, estimated time spent for sleeping. While Filipino adults would ideally like to get 8.2 hours of sleep at night, no, ito yung regular amount of sleep, at least 8 hours. In reality, they only sleep 6.8 hours on average. And if I were to ask you, no, have you computed or have you looked upon no, kung gaano katagal kayo natutulog? No? And I think at this very age, no, sa inyong mga students, ang sleep sa inyo ay parang hindi binibigyan ng much importance. No, not everyone, pero some of you no tend to at least deprive yourself with sleep, no? Meron pa ba sa inyong natutulog dito ng before 10 p.m., no? Yung iba nga ang sleep nila after 12 na or yung iba umaabot pa ng madaling araw, no? Why? Because of the certain activities that you do no, that helps you or makes you feel awake, no? There are many activities that you do that will make you feel awake. Actually, most of and some rather of the Filipinos that uh, are alive today or at this very generation has a different sleeping patterns, especially those people that are working on what we call the graveyard shift. So do you have any persons that you know that is having this specific sleep cycle? No? Sila yung mga certain people na nagtatrabaho sa mga industries or establishments na nagre-require nagising sila even at times that sleep should be the thing that they should do, no? For example, yung mga fast food chain na workers, yung mga staff, yung mga nagtatrabaho doon, also with the individuals who work in call centers, no? Talagang as much as possible, they are awake on times meant for sleeping. Why? Because they are serving people across the world, which has different time zones, and this is something that they should adjust on. Let's continue. So we have three standard physiological measures of sleep. These are most of the technology that we use in order for us to study and measure our sleep. So first we have our electroencephalogram, which is EEG, which reveals the brain waves. I think you're already familiar with this, no? We also have electrooculagram. Electroencephalogram, ito yung mga patches na nilalagay sa mukha, no? Sa katawan, no? Sa ulo. Electrooculagram naman, it's connected in the eyes, so it records eye movements seen during rapid eye movement sleep. And we also have electromyogram, which detects loss of activity in the neck muscles during some sleep stages. So, ito yung mga standard, no? Pero may other technologies pa that they can use in order to study sleep, no? Okay. So, with the general knowledge, we have what we call the four stages of sleep, no? In the electroencephalogram. Okay, so as you see here in the picture, we have the NREM, no? Stage 1, NREM stage 2, NREM stage 3, and the REM sleep. So REM stands for rapid eye movement, and with the N on its start, no, it implicates non-REM. So in the four stages of sleep, we have to look upon first at the alpha waves. So these alpha waves are the specific electrical impulses that is recorded in the EEG. So alpha waves, bursts of 8 to 12 hertz EEG waves, where eyes were closed, and it is the time where we prepare to sleep. EEG voltage increases and frequency decreases as one progresses from stage 1 through 2, 3, and 4. No? So, nag-increase yung frequency, no? Kapag papunta pa lang, pero nagdi-decrease na kapag nagpupunta na tayo sa other stages of sleep. So, to continue, on the first stage, it is similar to awake EEG, no? But slower, no? Ito yung ano, kapag papunta ka na sa sleep and kinukondisyon mo yung katawan mo na talagang matutulog ka. So, low voltage but high frequency. Stage 2 or tinatawag na K-complexes. So, one large negative awkward deflection. So, kung titingnan natin kasi yung EEG voltage ay parang ano rin, if you're familiar yung sa hospital, no? Yung parang zigzag lines. So, magkakaroon tinatawag na K-complexes sa stage 2. May one large negative awkward deflection. Malaking ano siya, parang wave ng alpha wave. Followed by one large positive wave. So, isang malaking pataas, pababa. Ay, pababa, pataas. So, sleep spinals burst from 12 to 14 hertz waves. So, ito na yung nagkakaroon na ng changes. Parang nagtatransverse na yung brain waves mo into strong to weaker pero unstable waves. Stage 3 and 4, the delta waves, no? They are large and slow types of. So, as we can see here, so ito yung binabanggit natin kanina. Alert and wakefulness yung pinakatuktok. Next, just before sleep, nagkakaroon ng changes, no? Nagkakaroon ng tinatawag natin alpha waves. And stage 1 of sleep, makikita nyo dito, no, nag-change na talaga. Then, Stage 2, sleep spindles and the key complexes. So medyo may burst ng alpha waves. Stage 3 ng sleep and stage 4, makita nyo yung changes nila, medyo ano na, talagang nagbabago rin yung alpha waves sa brain. Okay, to continue. So it progresses to stage 4 sleep and then back to stage 3, 2, and stage 1. So emergent stage 1 differs from initial stage 1, REMS, which is a rapid eye movement stage. So in this time of or stage of sleep, there is already a loss of body core muscle tone. So it progresses through sleep stage in 90-minute cycles. So durations of emergent stage, one periods lengthen as night progresses. So habang gumagabi, so nagte-change yung ating stages ng sleep from stage 1, 2, 3, 4. So babalik siya, no, to stage 3, 2, and tinatawag na emergent stage. Dito na sa emergent stage, ito na yung mahaba-habang REM sleeps, no, na nagpo-progress through sleep stages in a 90-minute cycle. So, ayan, nakikita natin. So, from stage 1 here, so dadire-diretso siya, 1, 2, 3, no? Okay. Ayan, stage 1, palalim ng palalim, pa stage 4, tapos babalik siya, emergent stage, so nagkakaroon ng periods of REM, no, and nagkakaroon ng lack of core muscle tone. So, 2, so nakikita niyo nagkakaroon ng cycle, no? Parang waves din siya. Okay, let's continue. So, this is the hours. Okay. So emergent stage 1 sleep, which is an REM sleep, no? So all other stages pa are non-REM. Usually yung REM sleep is yung after ng 4 stages. So stage 3 plus 4, nagkakaroon tayo ng slow wave sleep or SWS. So during REM sleep, so there's a loss of core muscle tone. Medyo talagang nawawalan tayo ng uh, muscle tone or talagang nire-relax yung body natin. There's a low amplitude, high frequency EEG, so it's the waves. There's increased cerebral and autonomic activity. So, yung brain natin, actually nagkakaroon ng increase, no? Autonomic activity, ito yung activity na hindi natin nakokontrol. So, it can be twitching, or in the muscles may twitch, no? Or there could be a penile erection or clitoral erection for female. Penile is penis. Let us now look at the connection of REM sleep and dreaming. So usually dreaming happens on the REM sleep or the rapid eye movement phase or stage of our sleep. 80% of awakenings from REM yield reports of story-like dreams. No, kapag nagigising daw during REM, so nagkakaroon ng reports na nagkakaroon sila ng dreams or stories while they are sleeping. External stimuli may be incorporated into dreams. What does that mean? So usually daw yung mga stimuli no kapag gising kayo, no? Or mga stimuli habang kayo ay natutulog pero external outside your body, pwede silang ma-incorporate into the dreams. Dreams run on real time and everyone dreams. So actually dreams is not like video, no? Na kapag pinapanood natin tuloy-tuloy siya na no na movement. Actually, they are flashes of pictures na connected with one another, no? Pero they are very fast because they travels on wavelengths, so they look like is this specific uh, picture that we see and like a real-time movie that we see in our dreams. So, penile erections are not a result of erotic dreams. So, baka yung iba iniisip na kapag nagkakaroon ng erection, yung penile or penis part ng males during dreams are because of erotic dreams. But no, no? Even females have this erection, but on their clitoral part, no? Sleepwalking and talking are less likely to occur while dreaming. So this is somnambulism and somniloquy, no? They are less likely to occur while dreaming. So bihira silang mangyari. Okay, now we go to the interpretation of dreams. So, as we all know, no, many of us believe that our dreams were not something that is irrelevant, no. It depicts something about our life when we're awake, and it means something in our personal life, no? And many of us identify dreams as something that can even depict what will happen in the future, no? So sometimes, no, dreams are very important to interpret for us to more understand what is happening or ongoing in our mind subconsciously, because dream itself happens in our subconscious state. So when we are talking about dream, our daddy Freud is very famous about it because he was the first one to make a book regarding the dream interpretation. So, according to his explanation, dreams now are triggered by unacceptable repressed wishes. What does that mean? So, it is a view on the psychoanalytic interpretation. So, dreams now is the center of our wish fulfillment. What does it mean? So, people dream daw about the things that they secretly wish and desire. Would you agree? No? Many of these urges might be inappropriate or shocking daw kasi. Kaya lumalabas yon sa ating dreams. No, hindi siya acceptable when we are awake. So, dun siya, no, nag-spurt out kapag tayo ay nananaginip. So, the mind disguises the hidden meaning in the manifest content of these dreams. So, when we are talking about manifest dreams are dreams that can be remembered. These are the dreams that we experience. Ito yung talagang nakikita natin through picture in our brains when we remember them. No? So, the latent dreams naman, no, they are the underlying meaning. Usually, ito yung usual na mas nakakalimutan nating part ng dream natin. Manifest, these are more of the superficial or natatandaan natin. Yung latent dreams, which is sometimes more important, no? These are the underlying meaning of the dreams, or these are the part of the dream that we easily tend to forget but is more important. Okay, but there is no evidence for this. No, these are theories that is done through the study of Sigmund Freud. So there's what we call the activation synthesis. So how do we activate these kinds of dreams, these manifest and latent dreams, no? Wherein the content are very special or important, no? Modern alternative to Freud's explanation of dreams, no? Kailangan daw nagkakaroon ng synthesis para ma-activate natin or combination ng dreams natin at talagang pinagtutuon ng pansin, no? Yung iba pa nga sinasabi na we should have our dream journal. In this dream journal, no, when we wake up in the morning, no, without remembering what dreams we have, we tend to forget 90% of the dream that we had, no? Kaya nga daw nakakatulong kung magkakaroon tayo ng dream journal because with the dream journal, no, once we woke up, no, pwede natin isulat kung ano yung napanaginipan natin that night. Dreams due to cortex attempt daw to make sense of random brain activity. Okay? Tinitrigger ng cortex natin yung subconscious part, no? Kaya nag-send siya ng signals, no? Para i-depict kung ano pa talaga yung nangyayari sa state mo ngayon. So, why do we sleep and why do we sleep when we do? Okay? So, there's what we call the recuperation theories. So, what is recuperation itself? By definition, recuperation means recovery from illness or exertion. It's also recovery or regaining of something. So, according to the theory in connection to the sleep daw is needed to restore homeostasis or homeostasis. So, if you could remember, homeostasis is the ability to maintain, no, stable internal state. No, ito yung internal environment natin na dapat nating i-maintain despite the changes in the world outside. So, kailangan natin itong ma-maintain para, no, ma-regulate din natin yung energy para makasurvive. So, wakefulness causes daw a deviation from homeostasis. So, when we are awake, no, nagkakaroon ng deviation or pagbabago sa ating internal environment. Adaptation theories also. Sleep daw is a result of an internal timing mechanism. So, may internal clock. Sleep daw evolved to protect us from dangers of the night. Why is that? Because looking back to our ancestors, no, yung mga ano daw early human according to science, no, sinasabi, during the night daw, when the night creeps in, it is more dangerous outside. So it is one of the mechanisms that aided this specific our ancestors daw to survive and to protect themselves during the night. They need to sleep. Mhm. So there is also what we call the comparative analysis of the sleep. When we say comparative analysis, it is comparing across different organisms. So all mammals and birds sleep now. They must have an important function. That's why they do. No, it is not a special higher order human function. What does it mean? No, na tao lang bang natutulog? Hindi. Almost every living organism, especially mammals, needed sleep. No, so it is not parang special features lang ng human. No, na humans lang pwedeng mag-sleep. No, mammals also they need to sleep, and we all know that naman. It is not necessarily needed in large quantities. No, yung sleep daw. There's no clear relationship between species sleep, time, and activity level. No, according to my research, mga sabi nila, may mga specific type of animals that sleep for over 19 hours per day. Imagine that is almost 82% or 83% ng 24 hours nila, no? What is this animal? Yung brown bat, yung mga paniki natin, no? Natutulog sila ng almost 19 hours a day, no? And they are awake for at least 5 hours lang or 4, no? So, yung mga infant, no, they tend to have an average sleep of 16 hours yung mga baby. Kaya every now and then pinapatulog yung mga baby because they need that to expedite or pabilisin yung kanilang development, no, and growth, no. Yung mga pusa natin, they have an average sleep daw of 12 hours, no, to 14, no. Yung bigger cats such as yung lions or tiger, they have higher sleeping time. For example, tiger has almost 16 hours of sleep needed for a day. A regular human, 8 hours, and yung elderly, yung mas matatanda, they needed lesser sleep, no. Average daw na sleep nila ay 5 hours or 5.5 hours, no. So, kapag ikaw ay natutulog ng 5 hours or less, elderly ka ba? So, you need to sleep more, no? And dun nga sa Animal Kingdom, one of the least sleeper among them all is the giraffe. Ang tulog niya lang daw sa isang araw ay at least 2 hours. Then, awake na siya sa buong, sa buong araw niya. So, let's continue. Effects of sleep deprivation. Oh, ito na. So, do you think, no, your students are sleeping the right way, no? Or do you have the right amount of sleep that you have in you, no? Or you are depriving yourself of the much important sleep. So it is difficult, but if not impossible, to separate the effects of stressors used to prevent sleep from the effects of lost sleep. Ano ba yung stressors ninyo? Ano ba yung something nag-trigger kaya hindi kayo nakakatulog, no? Siguro one of the major contributing factor is the use of your technologies and gadgets, no. You cannot deny the fact that most of the time of the day you are holding your smartphones. Actually, at the very moment nga, no, hawak niyo yung cellphones niyo or laptop niyo, no, because it is a needed cycle na, and it is a hobby na nakasanayan na rin natin. Because with the aid of our smartphones, no, it aids us in going through our day. No, actually, at the very moment din, ako rin, habang nagre-record ako ngayon, nasa harapan ako ng laptop and meron akong cellphone sa tabi, may tablet pa sa tabi, para makapag-search ng additional information para sa inyo. So, yun nga lang, we need to balance it naman. Because when we deprive ourselves of sleep, no, alam naman natin na merong mga negative effects. Let's continue. So, effects of the sleep deprivation continue. So, according to the recuperation theories or recovery theory, it predicts that long periods of wakefulness will result in disturbances. We all agree to that, no? Natayin nyo na ba yun kapag puyat na puyat kayo, kinabukasan, anong pakiramdam nyo? Para kayong irritable, no? Nangangalawang, no? Makakalimutin, or lutang, no? Sabaw. Ano ba ang dapat nating description to that, no? Disturbances will get worse as deprivation continues. Ayun, no? So kapag mas dinedeprive nyo pa everyday yung sarili nyo sa much needed sleep, no? Mag-worsen yung disturbances. After deprivation, much of the missed sleep will be regained. And yun nga, hindi nyo na rin mapipigilan yung sleep na much needed ng katawan ninyo. Let's continue. Two classic sleep deprivation case studies. Okay, so according to this one study, sleep deprived students daw, uh, by the third night of depriving their sleep, no, subject found desire for sleep is overpowering. Hindi na nila kayang pigilan pa, no? Na-try nyo na ba yun? Yung sobrang antok na antok kayo, kulang kayo sa tulog, sobrang antok na antok kayo, hindi nyo na napigilan, bigla nang nag-shutdown yung eyes niyo. Actually, madalas mangyari yan sa akin, no? May mga times na may kausap ako, no? Later on, wala na, hindi ko na sila na-replyan kasi nakatulog na. No problema yan kapag kayo ay merong mga partners in life, no? Or meron kayong important na kinakausap, no? Kung hindi man away yan, no, meron na kayong na-miss na opportunity or meron kayong something na hindi nasabi because nakatulugan ninyo, no? Another one of this case study is the study of Randy Gardner. Okay, this case study about Randy Gardner. So, short background lang. He is an American from San Diego, California na nag-set ng record for the longest amount of time a human has gone without sleep, no? So, nangyari to noong December 1963 to January 1964. So, by that time, 17-year-old pa lang siya, no? Nag-stay awake siya for 11 days. Imagine that, 11 days kang gising, no? And 25 minutes pa pala. So, breaking the previous record of 260 hours held by Tom Rounds. He only slept, but surprisingly, he only slept 14 hours the first night after the study. So, yun lang yung binawi niya. At the moment, si Randy ay already 75 years old na. Okay? So, under experimental studies of sleep deprivation in humans. So, little effect daw ng sleep deprivation sa tao. There is a logical deduction and critical thinking. No, nagkakaroon ng effect, no, sa ating logical deduction, yung mga kailangan ng immediate na decision or critical thinking, medyo nahihirapan tayo, no, or hindi madali. And physical strength and motor performance is also affected. And we all know that, no? Parang ang lamya, no, kulang sa tulog. The larger effect of sleep deprivation are the following: executive functions of the prefrontal cortex, such as assimilating changing information, ito yung nagbabago-bago, updating plans and strategies, no? Innovative, lateral, insightful thinking. Ang hirap magkaroon ng insightful thinking. Why? Because mga ngalawang ka, kapag kinakailangan ng immediate response sa'yo, parang, teka lang, ipaprocess ko muna. So, medyo sabaw ako. Ano na nga ulit yun? Parang mga ganun. And reference memory. Hindi mo madaling makuha yung mga reference memory or memory na naka-stack sa iyong memory bank. Okay? Experimental studies of sleep deprivation in humans. So, according to this, no, 3 to 4 hours of deprivation daw in one night will increase sleepiness. Ang hirap pigilan. Disturbances displayed on written test of mood. And we'll agree to that, no, kapag kayo ay deprived sa sleep, no, nagkakaroon kayo ng disturbances sa inyong mood and minsan nagbabago-bago yung moods ninyo. Also, it will contribute to poor performance on test of vigilance. Yung nangangailangan ng vigor ng body ninyo, strength, agility, no? Medyo talagang makita natin yung effect. And 2 to 3 days daw of continuous sleep deprivation will cause you to have or experience microsleeps. Ito yung naps of 2 to 3 seconds. So, bigla na lang babagsak yung ulo nyo, no? Or yung mata nyo ay magsha-shut, tapos makatulog kayo, tapos bigla kayong maalimpungatan para kayong magigising. Ay, inaantok ako. Or talagang ang hirap labanan, no? So, one of my students in previous years asked me this question. Sabi niya, "Sir, bakit po inaantok pa rin ako kahit nakatulog naman na ako ng 8 hours ng sleep?" So, simple explanation to that is it could be your body requires more resting than average, no? Parang mas need ng body mo na mas mahabang sleep. But it is also likely that your tiredness is not due to the lack of sleep, no? It is due to the lack of quality of the sleep rather than the quantity of it. Minsan kasi, no, madali tayong magising in subtle movements such as Kapag medyo ah, tumahol yung aso niyo isang beses, magigising kayo. Kapag gumalaw yung katabi niyo sa kama, magigising kayo. Or kapag mm, may nag-text sa'yo in the middle of the night or madaling araw, magigising kayo. Or kapag biglang merong nagsalita sa dilim, biglang may nag-hello sa inyo, habang natutulog kayo, magigising kayo. No? So, it's more likely on the quality of sleep, kaya ganun. Kaya inaantok pa rin kayo even after 8 hours of sleep. Hindi siya due to the lack of quantity. So, sleep deprivation studies with laboratory animals. So, carousel apparatus daw are used to deprive rats of sleep. Ito yung yung parang wheel na tinatakbuhan nila, no? Pero pahiga siya, no? Tapos paikot-ikot lang siya, no? Deprive nila yung rats sa sleep. Pinagod nila, no? So, when the experimental rat's EEG indicates sleep, the chamber floor moves. No, kapag inaantok na yung mga daga, no, umiikot yung chamber floor. If the rat does not awaken, it falls into the water. So, ayun yung mangyari, no? Grabe sila. Yoke controls is subjected to the same floor rotation. Okay. So, ayun nga, in-experiment din nila yung rat, no? Kung babalik tayo kay Randy Gardner, some of the reports have been, is this, no? On the second day daw na sleep deprived si Randy Gardner, yung tao na nagising ng 11 days, no? Nagkaroon siya ng difficulty sa pag-focus ng kanyang mata, no? Sa mga signs, no? And nagkaroon daw siyang tinatawag na astereognosis. Yun yung difficulty sa pagre-recognize ng object only by touch. Hindi niya ma-identify yung bagay na hindi niya nakikita o tinatouch niya lang. Nung third day ni Randy Gardner, no, nagkaroon na rin siya ng moodiness, no, and nagkaroon siya ng signs ng attack siya, no. Hindi niya ma-repeat yung mga simple tongue twisters. Nagkaroon siya nung mga following days, irritability, hindi na siya, yung attitude niya ay uncooperative, memory lapse, no, hindi siya makapag-concentrate, and nagkaroon siya ng hallucination, no, na yung street signs daw ay tao, no, nagkaroon na rin siya ng delusion, no, na ini-imagine na siya daw ay famous football player. Nagkaroon siya ng more hallucinations following days, no? And bumagal ng speech niya, fragmented yung thinking niya, nagkaroon na siya ng paranoia, no? Na pinagmumukha na daw siyang foolish dahil daw hindi niya daw maalala yung mga bagay. Ayan, and nung 11th day, no, wala na siya halos expression. Ayan, and yun nga, nagka-problem siya ng physical and psychological. So, sa animals din, yun nga, yung binanggit ko, no, a while ago, which is dineprive nila using the carousel apparatus. Ang nangyari, nagkaroon ng, ng difficulties yung rat sa pag-maintain ng sleep. And kapag inaantok nga sila, pinapaikot yung wheel, no? And kapag tumigil sila sa pagtakbo doon sa wheel, malalaglag sila sa tubig. Okay. No, yun nga lang, ang nangyari, namatay yung mga daga after several days, nakakalungkot. So, post-mortem studies, no, yung after death, no, chinek sila, reveals that extreme stress experienced by the experimental rats. So, kawawang mga daga. Yan. So, ito yun. Ito yung carousel apparatus, no? Kailan nilang tumakbo ng tumakbo dyan. Kung hindi, ay malalaglag sila sa tubig. Okay. REM, sleep deprivation. So, two consistent effects daw ng deprivation sa REM sleep is the following. So, proceed more rapidly to REM as REM deprivation increases. No? So, have you encountered some of the individuals na mapapikit lang, maya-maya naghihilik na? Or mapapikit lang, wala pang halos 5 minutes or 10 minutes, tulog na. No? So, that's because of sleep deprivation also. No, it can be caused rather. No? So, ang dali nila mag-proceed sa REM. Minsan, hindi na sila dumadaan ng NREM sleep, no? And makikita nyo yan physiologically na kapag sila ay natutulog na or biglang naghihilig, gumagalaw yung kanilang eyes. Nagkakaroon din sila ng tinatawag na REM rebound, no? Nagkakaroon sila ng more time spent in REM when deprivation is over. No, parang ano siya, anong tawag doon? nagkakaroon ng remission, no? Parang humahaba talaga yung time and mas need niya na mas maraming REM sleep. REM rebound suggests that REM sleep serves as a special function. So ano bang purpose ng REM? So processing of explicit memories, no? So nagkakaroon ng inconsistent findings daw na ito yung nagpa-process ng explicit memories. Antidepressant REM blocking drugs do not interfere with memory. So they have tried this specific type of drugs, no? Kasi nasabi nga daw nila na minsan sa yung REM daw ay nagkukos minsan ng distress. No? Kaya tinatry nila na nagbigay ng antidepressant REM blocking drugs. Okay? Default theory. It is difficult to remain in NREM sleep, no? So, according to Nykamp and others, awoke sleepers in REM for 15 minutes. There's a result where no sleepiness or REM rebound the next day. REM blocking drugs cause period of wakefulness. So, nung tinay nilang i-block yung REM, nung nagkaroon naman sila ng periods of wakefulness, ang hirap naman nilang makabalik sa tulog. Ayan. So, sleep deprivation increases sleep efficiency. What does it mean? This is sleep efficiency. So, it refers to the percentage of time a person sleeps in relation to the amount of time a person spends in bed. No? The percentage is calculated by dividing the total sleep time by total time in bed. Di ba, minsan kapag humihiga kayo, hindi pa naman kayo agad-agad nakakatulog. No? Pa kayo, nagmumuni-muni or pumipikit kayo pero hindi pa agad nag-shutdown yung body niyo to sleep. No? So, normal sleep efficiency daw is considered to be at least 80% or greater. So after sleep deprivation, most of lost stage 4 is regained and slow wave sleep is increased. Okay, shorter sleepers get as much slow wave sleep as long sleepers. No, naps without SWS do not decrease the night sleep, and gradual reductions in sleep time lead to decrease in stage 1 and 2 of the sleep. No, kaya yun yung nagpo-prove nga daw na mas nag-increase yung sleep efficiency kapag deprived kayo sa sleep, no? Or mas madali kayo makatulog. Little sleepiness produced with repeated REM awakenings unlike SWS. Now we go to what we call the circadian sleep cycles. Okay, so what is the circadian sleep cycles? Circadian rhythms is what we call about a daytime. So, it's a 24-hour cycle that are part of our body's internal clock, no? So, it runs in the background to carry out essential functions and processes. So, one of the most important and well-known circadian rhythm of the body is the sleep-wake cycle. Virtually all physiological, biochemical, and behavioral processes show some circadian rhythmicity, no? We have what we call the Zeitgebers. Zeitgebers is environmental cues that entrain circadian rhythm cycles, or it is a rhythmically occurring natural phenomenon which acts as cue in regulation of the body's circadian rhythm. Free-running circadian rhythm, rather sleep-wake cycles. Okay? Kapag ba ni-remove natin itong Zeitgebers natin, you can still see circadian sleep-wake cycles, no? So, meron tayong mga tinatawag kasi na Zeitgebers. Ito yung mga environmental cues na nag-indicate na patulog na tayo or mag-sleep tayo. Siguro para sa akin, kapag pinatay yung ilaw, it is an environmental cue na kailangan ko na mag-sleep. Or kapag silent yung environment, no? Makaka-sleep ako or wala akong ginagawa, no? Free-running periods daw vary, but usually consistent within a subject. Most are longer than 24 hours with an estimated up to 25 hours. So, what happens on a day when you don't need, no? Anong ginagawa nyo kapag kunyari hindi nyo naman kailangang gumawa ng something or wala kayong klase, no? Ano ang ginagawa nyo? Natutulog ba kayo ulit, no? Kapag yung cue nyo ay wala namang activity na gagawin for today, tulog muna ako ulit. Ginagawa nyo ba yun? Pagkagising nyo, natutulog kayo ulit? So, now let's proceed to the jet lag and shift work. So, ano ba ang jet lag? Familiar ba tayo dyan? Na-experience nyo ba yung jet lag? Okay, jet lag is also known as time zone change syndrome or desynchronisis. So, nangyari yan kapag yung mga tao ay nagta-travel ng mabilis across time zone. When their sleep is disrupted, for example, because of shift in work, no? Or it is also a physiological condition that results from disruption of our body circadian rhythm or body clock. So Zeitgebers are accelerated or decelerated. So ayun nga, according to shift work, no, sabi dito, kapag nagkakaroon ng shift sa works, no, rather, Zeitgebers are unchanged, no, but sleep-wake cycle must be altered, no. Nangyari to especially even yung sa ano, yung mga nagbabago yung oras ng trabaho. For example, during this 1 month, kayo ay tuloy-tuloy na midnight ang work or graveyard shift. Then, another month, puro na kayo araw. So, mahirap yung pag-adjust niyan. Because of that shift work, medyo nagkakaroon ng effect or impact sa inyong waking and sleeping cycle. So, both produce a variety of deficit. And this can affect our body as we all know it. So, paano ba natin ito mape-prevent or ma-minimize? Minimize, rather. So, in order to reduce jet lag, no, you need to gradually shift a sleep-wake cycle prior to the travel. So, kailangan na nag-a-adjust na inyong sleep-wake cycle, no? Binabago nyo na unti-unti, no? You should also administer post-flight treatments to promote the needed shift. Phase advance following eastbound travel with intense light early in the morning. So, what does it mean? Kapag tayo pa east or meron tayong malaking time differences, kailangan na uh, paunti-unti yung ating pag-advance ng sleep, no? Lalo na kapag pa-eastbound tayo or yung mga bansa sa ating east, no? Kailangan natin na medyo baguhin yung ating time ng sleep, no? At simulan yun early in the morning. So, kung ang usual awake nyo or waking time ay 8 a.m. and papunta kayo sa east, for example, papunta kayo ng Hawaii, no? Or other part of the globe, siguro, especially eastbound, no, kailan i-adjust nyo yung waking cycle nyo. Kapag kayo ay 8 a.m. nagigising, try nyo gumising mga 5 a.m. or 6, no? Para hindi kayo mahirapan at hindi kayo mag-suffer sa jet lag. Hamster studies suggest a good early morning workout may also help. A circadian clock in the suprachiasmatic nucleus. So lesion Dao does not reduce sleep time, but they abolish its circadian periodicity. So, itong specific part ng ating suprachiasmatic nucleus, so para lang refresher, itong suprachiasmatic nucleus is tiny region ng brain sa hypothalamus. So, responsible sa pagkocontrol din ng circadian rhythms natin. Okay? So, kapag daw nagkaroon ng lesion or dinamage, no, hindi daw niya ma-reduce yung sleep time, pero ma-abolish niya yung circadian periodicity. No? Medyo malilito rin yung body mo. Will also exhibit electrical, metabolic, and biochemical activity that can be entrained by light-dark cycle. No? So, maapektuhan yung metabolism mo, no? Yung pagdadigest ng food, biochemical activities, yung mood mo, no? And it can be or magsisynchronous siya sa inyong light and dark cycle, yung pagbubukas at pagpapatay ng ilaw or yung sa pag-araw at paggabi. So, transplant daw of SCN, no? We also transplant sleep-wake cycle. Okay, neural mechanism of entrainment. So, hindi ko na ito masyadong i-discuss kasi medyo technical to. Genetics of circadian rhythm. So, several mammalian circadian genes have been identified. Some of this has also been identified in other species of other evolutionary ages. Expression of these genes follow a circadian pattern, no? Tulad ng mga binanggit ko kanina, yung sleeping patterns ng mga animals at other organisms. Most of the gene expression appears to be entrained by the activity of the SCN or suprachiasmatic nucleus. So, meron ding effect, no, yung kanang SCN sa kanilang circadian genes or rhythm, rather. Kaya meron tayong mga identified na animals na nocturnal, no, meron ding diurnal. Diurnal are animals that thrive or awake during the day, same as to humans. And nocturnal are animals that seems to be more lively during the night, such as bats and hedgehog. Evidence of other clocks. Some circadian rhythms intact after SCN lesion. SCN lesions do not eliminate the ability of all environmental stimuli, such as food or water availability, ability to entrain circadian rhythms. Okay, so like SCN cells, cells in other parts of the body exhibit free-running circadian rhythms in tissue cultures. even yung body natin, no, meron tayong circadian rhythm cycle, such as yung heart natin. During the day where we tend to do much of the activities, uh, our body tells our heart to beat more faster because we need more blood supply and oxygen. Also with the brain, no, usually mas active ang brain during sleep, but during the night, as much as possible, it stabilizes itself with the aid of the circadian rhythm too, no? And with some of the internal environment that needs to be stabilized, no? Pero meron tayong mga free-running circadian rhythms or clocks such as yung every time that we tend to eat, no, na-activate yung other organs natin in the body, wherein supposedly, no, or commonly, meron tayong specific time of the day na nagugutom na tayo, such as kapag dumating na yung 12 noon, no? 12 na kasi kaya pala nagugutom na ako. That can also be considered as evidence of other clock in our body, no? Or 8 p.m. kaya pala nagugutom na ako. Or 10 na pala kaya pala inaantok na ako. Okay, so there are four areas of the brain now that is involved in sleep, no? So two of this is found in the hypothalamus, which is the posterior and anterior hypothalamus. They're related daw to excessive sleep or inability to sleep respectively. So paano ito nalaman? Ang nakaalam nito ay si Economo or Constantine von Economo, which is a neurologist, with the help of Jean-René Couchet, which is a pathologist. So, nakita nila to sa patients na may encephalitis lethargica, also known as sleeping sickness or sleepy sickness. So, nakuha to sa tsetse fly, if you are familiar, no? No, na actually it was found out and was discovered in Africa, pero medyo kumalat na sa Southern America, no? So, medyo problem yan. And nakita nila na yun nga, nagkakaroon ng activity sa hypothalamus, specifically on the posterior and anterior part. So, to continue, so meron ding two areas of the brainstem involved in sleep. We have here the cerveau isole, or isolated forebrain. So, it's need to be prepared. It's produced by severing cat brainstem between the superior and inferior colliculi, resulting to continuous short-wave signals. Okay, sleep. So, meron din tayo yung encephale isole, or it is produced by transection caudal to colliculi, resulting to normal sleep cycle. So, ito daw yung mga two parts ng brainstem na involved din sa sleep. Therefore, wakefulness depends on the function of the reticular formation or reticular activating system. Ayan. This is the graphical representation of the process a while ago. Okay, so now reticular and REM and sleep nuclei. So similarities daw between REM daw and wakefulness suggest that same brain area might be involved in both, no, during REM sleep and wakefulness. REM sleep daw is controlled by nuclei and caudal reticular formation. So each is controlling a different aspect of REM. Now we will go to the drugs that affect sleep. So we all know that drugs can aid or lessen the effects of sleep in our body. So drugs that increase sleep are the following. They are usually hypnotic drugs, no? They are usually these types of drugs that are relaxant and antidepressant. Some of the benzodiazepines are Valium and Librium. So these types of drugs are usually type of drugs that is administered or given in individuals with psychological problems or individuals that has problem with sleeping or anxiety, no? So short-term use of this medication is usually safe and effective, pero kapag nagkaroon ng long-term, no, it can lead to tolerance, dependence, and some other adverse effect. Okay, most commonly prescribed hypnotic drugs and effective in short-term. So some of the complications kapag nagkaroon ng longer-term, no, administration of this kind of drug are the following: tolerance, cessation that leads to insomnia, no? Yung pagtigil mo sa pagtigil ng drugs, magkakaroon ka ng insomnia. Addiction, no? Use leads to next day drowsiness, and increase of stage 2 sleep while decrease stage 4 and REM. So hindi ka naman makakatulog din. So to continue, drugs that decrease sleep or anti-hypnotic drugs naman are a stimulant and tricyclic antidepressants. These are the following drugs naman that decrease the sleep nga, no? So, they both increase activity of catecholamines. So, some of these drugs are known as doxepin, no? Amoxapine, amitriptyline, no? Marami ba tayo? Tropranil, Pamelor, no? Trimipramine, iba-ibang mga antidepressant drugs. So, they act preferentially on REM and may totally suppress REM with little effect on total sleep time. Yung catecholamines nga pala, ano yan? It helps the body respond to stress or fright and prepare the body for fight or flight reaction, no? So, yung adrenal gland natin ang nagka-create ng malaking amount nito, no, in reaction to stress, no, kasama yung cortisol. Okay? So, pero yung main catecholamine, as we all know, is the adrenaline, no? And norepinephrine or non-adrenaline and dopamine. They are catecholamines. Okay, so, ayan. Side effects naman of too much take of these antidepressant drugs are loss of appetite and addiction. So now we will be talking about melatonin. So I think familiar kayo sa melatonin, tama? Okay. Synthesized from serotonin in pineal gland. So melatonin levels follow circadian rhythms controlled by suprachiasmatic nucleus. So pineal gland triggers seasonal reproductive changes in fish, birds, reptiles, and amphibians. Human function is unclear, but as we all know, no, melatonin induces and promotes sleep. Actually, it is generally safe in short-term use then. As for the example that you see here, no, with the problem is if you become dependent with it, no, pwede kang magkaroon ng habituation or hindi na magkakaroon ng response after repeated use or pwede ka na magkaroon ng hangover effect. So, ang side effects niya ay headache, no? So, ayun nga. Actually, nag-i-increase din ang reproduction ng melatonin kapag medyo hindi nakaka-receive yung ating optic nerve ng light, no? So, decrease in light source, no, will increase in melatonin. Melatonin is not a sleep aid, but it may be used to shift circadian rhythms. So now we go to sleep disorders. Insomnia is a disorder of sleep initiation and maintenance. So, di tulad ng pagkakaalam ng napakarami at maling pagkakaalam, ang insomnia ay hindi naman talaga inability to get to sleep or hindi makatulog. Mali yun. Ang insomnia ay inability to maintain quality sleep. No? Okay? So, hypersomnia naman, on the other hand, is disorders of excessive sleeping or sleepiness. Medyo sobra naman, no? I think ang kanilang normal required sleep ay 10 to 12 and they can reach up to 15 hours of sleeping. And worse, merong akong nabasa dati na regarding this disorder wherein umabot siya ng 48 hours na sleep, no? Parang comatose na. And pwede magkaroon ng REM sleep dysfunction. So 30% daw, estimated of 30% of respondents report sleep-related problems. Far fewer truly have. Okay, to continue, in the sleep disorders, insomnia, we have what we call the iatrogenic, or a physician-created consequence of a sleeping pill use, for example. So, it's relating to an illness caused by medical examination or treatment, no? Usually effect or impact siya. Alternative treatment should be given, such as sleep restriction. Bakit ganun? No? Kasi kapag gumagamit ng pill or gamot or drugs, no? Syempre, nadidisrupt or nagkakaroon ng changes sa internal environment ng body. So, ang gagawin nila ay alternative treatment such as natural process, which is sleep restriction. So, we also have what we call the sleep apnea. Medyo dangerous to, no? It is deprivation of oxygen during sleeping. It stops breathing during the night, which leads to repeated awakening. Nagigising dahil tumitigil sa paghinga. Meron siyang two types. First is obstructive. Obstruction of respiratory passages by muscle spasms or atonia. So usually nangyayari ito kapag yung medyo mataas yung visceral fats or fats inside your veins, no? Kapag medyo tabain yung tao, lalo na yung taba sa loob, no, yun ang problem. Na-obstruct yung pagpapass ng respiratory juices sa blood, no? Yung pagta-transfer ng oxygen. And dangerous yun, no? Kasi madadeprive sa oxygen yung other part of the body. We also have the central, wherein the central nervous system fails to initiate breaths, which is more dangerous, no? Kasi brain mo ang may problem dito. Most commonly, it is seen in males, the overweight, and the elderly. So, hina-hina tayo sa taba, ha? Continued. Periodic limb movement disorder. So, usually, nangyari to, di ba? Natry nyo na ba yung mga gumagalaw-galaw habang natutulog? Yung minsan sumisipa, biglang nagugulat, nangahampas. Meron nga ganun din. Pero kapag medyo severe yung case, it's called periodic limb movement disorder. Twitching of the body, usually the legs, during sleep. So, most sufferers are not aware why they don't feel rested. Merong mga natatry sumisipa-sipa habang natutulog or talagang naninipa, literal, no? Pero tulog sila. Restless legs is the uneasiness in the legs that prevents sleep. At minsan nagigising sila, no? Both are often treated with benzodiazepine. So, napaghiwalay ko pero one word lang. Benzodiazepine. So, another is hypersomnia and narcolepsy. So, hypersomnia naman is the large amount of quantity of sleep, no? Medyo nasusobrahan. And narcolepsy is the uncontrollable sleep attacks, no? Severe daytime sleepiness and repeated brief daytime sleep attacks. It is very dangerous, no? Kasi bigla-bigla ka na lang mag-shutdown and fall into a deep slumber. So, during this narcolepsy, meron tayong tinatawag na cataplexy. So, symptoms to ng narcolepsy, nagkakaroon ng loss of muscle tone while awake, no? Bigla na lang mawalan ng energy. Kunyari, naglalakad siya, tapos umatake yung narcolepsy niya, bigla na lang mawalan ng muscle tone, babagsak siya sa sahig, wala siyang control sa muscle niya. Or, habang kumakain siya ng noodles, no, ng may sabaw, no, chicken mommy, mga ganun. Or ganyan, humihigop ng sabaw, bigla na siya makakatulog at mahuhulog yung kanyang muka sa bowl. Ang problem nun ay pwede siyang mamatay because of this narcolepsy, of drowning, no? Especially yung mga naliligo sa swimming pool or nasa dagat, no? Nakakatakot yan kapag may narcolepsy kayo. No? Bigla na lang kayong makakatulog habang lumalangoy. We also have the sleep paralysis. Actually, siguro one of these days, no, na-encounter nyo na yung term na yan, sleep paralysis, where a person or individual became paralyzed while falling asleep or upon waking, no? Wherein yung habang natutulog kayo, bigla na lang kayong hindi makagalaw or hindi nyo na makontrol. Or even yung parang na-try nyo na ba to yung parang pakiramdam nyo gising kayo pero hindi nyo maigalaw yung katawan niyo. Pero parang nasa state kayo of subconscious wherein parang kayong nananaginip na merong ibang nangyayari sa environment nyo pero hindi kayo makagalaw, no? Or hindi kayo makasigaw, no? So, pwede rin magkaroon ng hypnagogic hallucinations, dreaming while awake, no? Bigla na lang kayong mananaginip na, teka, hindi pala nangyari yun, no? I don't know if this is the fine line between hallucination and dreaming. Kasi usually dreaming, di ba, hindi naman sila real time, no, in front na talaga nangyari. Pero kapag hallucinations kasi and hypnagogic, no, medyo nasa pagitan yan. Gising kayo pero parang nakatulog kayo pero parang kayong nanaginip, no? So, delikado yan. Mahirap din yan, no? Na-try ko na rin ito minsan yung natutulog ako pero ang nangyari naman is medyo pagod ako, no? Pagod na pagod tapos parang nilalagnat ako noon. Tapos nakatulog ako noon ng very early, no? Tapos pagka parang nagising ako, akala ko gising na ako pero hindi pa pala ako gising. Tapos meron akong mga naaninag-aninag na certain usok na pakiramdam ko na sa loob ng room ko. Nakikita ko yung room ko, nakikita ko yung sarili ko nakahiga. Pero hindi ako makagalaw. Tapos parang yung usok papalapit sa akin. Parang ganun yun, hypnagogic hallucination, no? Tapos nagising ako ulit, no? Akala ko gising na ako, hindi pa rin ako gising, no? Tapos yung usok daw nasa ibabaw ko na. Tapos ang ginawa ko, tinay ko ginalo yung pa ako. Nung ginalo ko yung pa ako, nagising talaga ako. Hindi na ako natulog ulit. No, kasi nakakatakot. Okay, so to continue, hypersomnia and narcolepsy. It appears to be abnormality in the mechanisms that trigger REM. Ang nangyayari, parang readily natitrigger yung REM even though you're awake. Narcoleptics enter directly into REM or rapid eye movement. Dreaming and loss of muscle tone while awake suggests that REM intruding into wakefulness. So, medyo nag-i-intrude yung rapid eye movement niya sa wakefulness. It may be due to the genetic orexin deficiency and environmental factors. So, orexin is a hormone, no? Actually, may two types ng orexin, orexin A and orexin B, na pinoproduce ng mammalian hypothalamus, no? And tumutulong sila sa regulation ng appetite and sleep. Kapag medyo nagkakaroon deficiency dito, no? Yun nga, ang nangyayari ay pwedeng magkaroon ng narcolepsy. Okay? So, REM without atonia. Okay? So, uulitin ko, yung atonia is the lack of muscle strength or muscle tone. So, able to act out dreams possibly caused by damage to the nucleus magnocellularis or its output. So, meron din naman daw narcolepsy na without atonia, no? Biglang makakatulog pero hindi naman maglulos yung muscle tone. For example, nakaupo siya. Tapos maya-maya biglang lang siyang natutulog, no? Pero hindi naman siya biglang bumagsak. Nakaupo pa rin siya. Ganun. Okay, so case history. So a man with assumed damage to caudal reticular formation had no REM sleep and no ill effects. So ang nangyari dito sa case na to ay nagkaroon siya ng damage sa kanyang caudal reticular formation sa kanyang brain. And because of that, no, nawala yung kanyang REM sleep. Hindi siya nagra-rapid eye movement. Pero wala siyang ill effects or walang negative effects sa kanyang function or body. Okay, so now we will go to the effects of long-term sleep reduction. Okay? So, ano daw bang different ng short at saka long sleepers? So, wala naman daw consistent differences. Pero kung ito na yung lifestyle niya, makikita natin yung difference. So, long-term reduction of night sleep, ano naman daw ang kanyang effect? So, when reduced to 6 hours per night, subjects often reported daytime sleepiness. So, kung kayo, sasabihin nyo, mga mahihinang nila lang. No? Kayo ay 5 hours lang sleep. Pero supposedly kasi, ang regular sleep ng tao ay 8 hours. Pero kapag reduced yun, and yung mga nasanay na 8 hours ang sleep, no? Inaantok sila kapag 6 hours per night lang ang kanilang sleep. Pero otherwise, wala naman siyang ill effects. And sinasabi na ang kanilang overall sleep was more efficient. Or kapag nag-sleep sila, 80% of the time, sleep sila. Hindi sila yung nagmumuni-muni pa, no? So, ano naman daw yung effects of napping? Some evidence that polyphasic sleep is more efficient. So, polyphasic sleep, usually kasi, ang regular man ay may tinatawag na monophasic sleep. Monophasic sleep, yun yung large chunk ng sleep, isang beses lang sa isang araw. Yung normal sleep natin, yung pagtulog sa gabi, monophasic sleep yun. Pero yung polyphasic sleep is sleeping every now and then, no? Efficient daw yun. Bakit? One example is Leonardo da Vinci. Si Leonardo da Vinci mismo, yung scheduled sleep niya ay 20 minutes every 4 hours. Nagkakaroon siya ng polyphasic sleep, no? Every 4 hours, 20 minutes siyang iidlip, no? Nakuha niyo yan sa extreme yung niya yun, yung discipline niya nun, no? And sinasabi na meron daw magandang effect sa kanya yun. Nasa inyo, kung gusto nyo i-try, pero baka 20 minutes yung umabot ng ilang oras. Kaya ba kapag nag-nap ba kayo ay mabilisan lang or matagalan? Ako kapag nag-nap ako ng afternoon, usually matagal. Mag-nap ako ng 2 p.m. siguro, magigising na ako 5 p.m. Mga ganun. Hindi ko kaya yung idlip lang na mabilisan, no? Sakit sa ulo. And effects of shorter sleep times on health. So some evidence now suggests that 5 to 7 hours night of sleep is correlated with greater longevity, no? Pero as much as possible, no, makuha natin yung enough or ample amount of sleep na required ng body ninyo, no? Let us try to be more healthy, especially during these times, no? Mahirap na din na-deprive natin yung sarili natin sa rest, no? Ang kinakawawa nun yung body nyo. Kaya ng brain niyo, pero yung body niyo yung nagsasuffer. Also, no, alam naman natin na may negative effects yung sleep deprivation, lalabas yung mga acne ninyo, mas maging oily kayo, no? And kapag binawi natin yung sleep natin, ang hirap na agad-agad. So, let us try to be a habit of healthy sleeping too, no? Monitor your sleep.